Hello, and welcome to another edition of SAN's Museum from Home Curators Pick series. My name is Siuli, and I'm a curator at the Singapore Art Museum. During the circuit breaker, I've been doing a fair bit of armchair traveling through social media, and today I invite you to journey with me to Bali through an artwork. The work in question is by Indonesian artist Made Djirna, and it was called Melampaui Batas, or Beyond Boundaries. We presented the artwork at the 2016 edition of the Singapore Biennale and Atlas of Mirrors. But before I show you the artwork, I would like to introduce Made Djirna and his artistic practice. Made Djirna lives and works in Bali, affectionately known as the Island of the Gods. True to its name, Bali and Balinese life is steeped in spirituality, symbolism, and ritual. If you have visited Bali before, you may have noticed temples or shrines at almost every corner, and you've probably tried your best to avoid stepping on the small trays of colourful flowers and offerings that are laid out daily in front of every door or on the roads. These are called canang sari, and every colour of the flowers has a certain meaning. When I was in Bali, I learned that they all represent the different directions and gods. In that sense, you can think of these beautiful offerings as a kind of map of the cosmos or the spiritual world. This is the world that Djirna grew up in, where everyday reality is inextricably tied up with the spiritual realm. Made Djirna started off as a painter, but from the mid-2000s onwards, his practice moved towards the exploration of installations that seek to bring back to life the spiritual forces of his Balinese environment. This was very clear to me when I visited his studio. It was like stepping into another world. Djirna likes to salvage found materials and transform them into new things. For instance, he will pick up discarded statues or coconut husks or bits of driftwood and arrange these items into new configurations to otherworldly effect. He also enjoys making small sculptures and figurines which people various corners of his studio. What caught my attention when I stepped into the studio was a long wooden boat in which Djirna had placed clusters of his little clay figurines. I found out that the boat was an antique, hundreds of years old, and judging from the wear on the wood, it was probably used to sail around the archipelago in the past. It was this boat that we eventually transported to the Singapore Art Museum for the Biennale, and it takes pride of place in the center of Djirna's installation. Here I am on the Google Arts and Culture platform, where you can view a repository of some of our past exhibitions, including the previous Singapore Biennale. And here we go, entering the gallery which houses Djirna's installation for the Biennale, Melampaui Batas. In this work, Djirna expresses his fascination with the boundaries between interiority and outward form, the physical and the spiritual, the microcosm and the macrocosm. He has said, "All of my work is a process that goes hand in hand with the demands of my soul. It is essentially a spiritual process taking visible, pictorial shape." The centerpiece of the installation is the antique ironwood boat that we saw earlier. The boat is symbolic of journeying between the Nusantara, the Indonesian archipelago, and the larger world, as well as between the worlds of the living and the dead, since in Balinese belief, the boat carries the soul to its ancestral abode after death. Hundreds of terracotta figurines, symbolizing humanity, line the walls of the gallery. They all exhibit individual expressions, even as their numbers suggest the community and the clay their frailty. Some of these figurines sit on the boat, suggesting humanity's shared journey through life, crossing over from the physical realm to the spiritual realm. And close by stands a tree fashioned from driftwood. Within its trunks and branches are fragments of other lives and civilizations. For me, this tree is indicative of the syncretic nature of religions and cultures in much of Southeast Asia. Just as how Djirna gathers up found objects and reconfigures them into new forms, so too the cultures of this region have taken elements from others and composed them into something entirely new. In a way, this is a tree beyond time, collapsing boundaries of distance, space, and culture. Taken as a whole, Djirna's installation is a personal cosmology that maps the voyages of his artistic imagination, as well as worlds beyond rational apprehension. It is an expression of his desire to move beyond boundaries, just as the work's title suggests: geographical boundaries, boundaries of the self and the other, and of the visible and invisible worlds, or what is known in Bali as Skala and Niskala. This brings us to the end of our Museum from Home series for now, and we'll be taking a bit of a break after this video. If you've enjoyed this series, you can explore other videos with other SAM curators or browse our virtual galleries and past exhibitions at your leisure. If you've enjoyed this series of art videos, remember to follow, like, and subscribe to SAM. See you soon.